Welcome, and thank you for buying the Ultimate Life Purpose course. I'm really excited to share all the different ideas and concepts and techniques that I've been searching through and sifting through and organizing for you so that you can cut out all the doubt and uncertainty in this process as much as possible. Here, what I want to do is just set up a little bit of the introduction for this course and give you some pointers for how to use this course and what you're going to learn in this course. First thing I suggest is that you watch the original sales video for this course, because that wasn't just a sales video pitching you to buy the course, but really I wanted it to be something kind of inspirational and also to describe what this course is. So if somehow you ended up buying this course without watching that video, then want to probably go and check it out. It's got some good content in it. Let's talk about, though, what you'll learn in this course. Here's a list of the stuff, and there's so much stuff that you'll learn here. There's enough content here to have you working on it for the next several years of your life at the very least. One thing you'll learn is you'll learn about your own authentic desires and values and passions and strengths in life. You're also going to learn not just about the positive aspects of you, but some of the negative aspects of you, some of the personal inner demons that you have. So you're going to learn about your greatest fears, your greatest limiting beliefs, and various obstacles that hold you back from living your dream life. You're also going to learn over 35 critical concepts for finding and also staying on track with your life purpose. You're also going to learn what your life purpose statement actually is. We're going to have you articulate it in a short, concise sentence. And I'm going to take you through a whole process that will get you towards that statement and make sure that that's a very accurate statement. One of the things I've really tried to do in this course is take you through step by step, explaining everything in a lot of concrete detail so that you don't get lost, you don't trip up, and you don't end up with something that isn't authentic to you. So I was really aiming for accuracy here. Another thing you're going to get is you're going to get a powerful vision for what your life should be like and where it's headed. A specific vision, not just a vague dream, but we're going to have you work on your visioning skills, create a vision for yourself, and then set some actionable goals for how to get towards it. Another thing you're going to learn is how to stay on track with your life purpose after you do identify it and you actually start moving towards it. How do you keep yourself on that track? Because this is a long journey. This is a multi-year, multi-decade long journey. And staying on track is different than just getting on track at first. So you'll learn techniques and strategies for how to do that. You're also going to learn about how to take action. How do you take all these cool theoretical concepts and lofty ideas that we talk about and turn them into concrete, real-world results? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, step by step. You're also going to learn about which books you should start reading. Books to read in order to take your understanding of this material even deeper, but also books that will motivate and deeply inspire you to head out into the world on your journey, to walk this path and to stay motivated and inspired on this path. I'm going to spend time telling you how to inspire yourself, how to motivate yourself so that that fire inside of you is always burning, and how to rekindle it when it starts dying down. And also I'm going to cover at the very end a lot of common questions that people have about this process. Ordinary people have common questions about, well, how does this work? And what about that? And what about this edge case? And what about this thing you forgot to talk about? So I'll cover a lot of those common questions in the FAQ section. This course is ultimately about self-discovery. That might sound kind of vague. What is self-discovery? And don't I already know myself? Well, if you already knew yourself, then you probably wouldn't be sitting here listening to me. One really odd fact about life, which is very counterintuitive, is that we're born and we live in this life, but we really don't get a user manual for the human mind and the human body, and also life in general. Nobody has written a human, life manual, so to speak. And so we kind of assume that, well, do we really need one? We can just kind of go off without one and just figure it out on our own. But ultimately what happens is that we're not very methodical about it. And what happens is that we don't know ourselves, not really deeply. So self-discovery is necessary to find your sense of purpose and direction in life. So we're going to be taking a lot of different angles at this idea of self-discovery to help you to really understand who you are. And one of the really cool ramifications of that, if you do the process, is that you start to get a real firm sense of who you are. So you can finally feel confident and secure in the world when you weren't before. This course is a step-by-step process. What that means is that if you follow every step and you do all the assignments and you do all the visualizations and everything else that I ask you to do, then you will experience huge growth internally, which will then lead to cool new things happening in your life. And specifically, this means finding your life purpose and then getting on track with your life purpose and moving towards your life purpose. And ultimately, after maybe a decade or two of working, finally getting to the point where you feel like you've conquered this life purpose. And maybe then you move on to some other life purpose. But my point here is that it's a process. You have to go through the steps. You also kind of have to trust the process. If you're overly skeptical about it and you pick everything apart and you try to naysay everything and not take any action towards it, then what you're going to find is that you're not doing the process. And by not doing this it's a simple process. By not doing it, you're not going to get the results. So try to follow it as best you can. You will probably find that this course is emotionally difficult. You're going to have resistance to doing the process, as simple as it is. You might have resistance to watching certain videos. You might have resistance to doing certain visualization exercises that I'll do with you. You might have resistance towards journaling or answering certain questions that I ask of you or doing certain assignments. You might have resistance just right now already. You might have had resistance just even clicking the play button on this video. Even though you were excited on the one hand and you bought this course, you paid money for it and all this, and now it's like, but still I'm kind of resistant, pushing that play button. Why is that? Well, we'll talk more about that, but basically that's just part of the process. We're expanding you, we're growing you, we're pushing your comfort zone. And just watching these videos is already pushing your comfort zone in a sense. So yeah, it'll be a little emotionally difficult, but that's how you know that you're growing. And that's how you know that it's actually working. If it was all easy and you can just sit there with a bag of popcorn and just enjoy yourself like at the movies, then you probably wouldn't be growing yourself, would you? It's very important that as we progress in this course, that you keep your negative thoughts in check. All sorts of negative thoughts might be coming up. Everything from this course won't work to, man, I wasted my money, to how am I going to actually make my life purpose happen, to like, oh, I'm never going to find my life purpose. Even if I find my life purpose, I'm going to fail at my life purpose. There's so many negative thoughts that might be coming up for you. You've probably had a few already, just in the course of this video here. Just be mindful of it. You're not going to be able to stop all your negative thoughts. Try to keep them in check, though, so they don't get the best of you. Trying to get sucked into that vortex of negative thinking. Like, oh man, this is never going to work, and oh, why did I even bother with this, and yada, yada, yada. Keep that in check. That's important because you need to give yourself permission and room here in this course to dream authentically. And you can't dream authentically when you're crippled by fear and negative thoughts, or when you're being very cynical. So for your own sake, I recommend that you take that cynicism, just put it aside for a while. You can always come back to it. Put it aside for a while. Open your mind up. Let yourself go into blue sky mode, daydreaming mode. It's all good. I want to warn you that the initial stages of this course are going to be pretty abstract. And we're not going to get into really specific, heavy, concrete exercises until later on in the course, towards the second half. And that's okay, because at first what I want to do is I want to kind of set the theoretical foundation, give you the concepts and the ideas, have those come together for you so that your mindsets are starting to change. Once your mindsets change, once you get your bearings straight with these various concepts, then I'm going to guide you through a lot of concrete examples and exercises to help you figure out your life purpose and your values and some of the other stuff and goals. And we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty details. So if you think that it's all just going to be philosophy, it's not. More of the first part of the course is going to be philosophy. The second half of the course is going to be heavy implementation. So you'll have plenty to do. I want to talk a little bit about some of the top reasons why people don't get results from self-help courses. There's a lot of different self-help courses out there. I think this one is pretty unique. I don't see that many of them focus specifically on life purpose. But no matter what the self-help course is, whether it's making more money or getting a better relationship or improving your business, these are very common traps right here that I'm going to outline. And I want to make sure that you are mindful of them and that you avoid these traps right here, because these will destroy your results. Number one is that people don't finish watching the course. Just that simple. It's the simple stuff that kills you. At the very least, if you paid for it, watch the whole course. That'll be a little challenging because this is a long course. There's over 20 hours of material here. So just that alone will be a lot of work for you. Finish watching the course. Secondly, people don't do the exercises. Extremely common. Most people do not do the exercises from self-help products. This, of course, destroys 90% of their results, because if you just listen to this while you're at the gym and don't do a single exercise, then basically you've wasted so much potential here. So much gold just flew out the window for you. So make sure you do the exercises. Thirdly, people don't take action in real life. So they think that just because they're coming up with, ideas and dreams and goals, and then they're doing some exercises in the class, that's sufficient. And after that, that's it. I'm good, right? Wrong. That's just the foundation. That's just the beginning. That's like the part where you're in college learning how to do your job. And then after you get out of college, guess what? You have to go do your job. Well, same thing here, right? This is like school. We're just preparing you for real life. So you got to go and take action in the real world if you want the serious results. Take action in the real world. Fourthly, is people don't follow the steps in the process. Some course outlines some steps you should follow. What do people do? They skip around. They think they're smart, so they want to change the process, and maybe they want to take step 5 and put it before step 1, and take step 1 and put it after step 7, and all this kind of stuff. And then they just make this problem for themselves, which doesn't really exist. It's like, dude, here's the process. Follow A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's going to lead you there. Follow it. Do it. There's been thought put into this process. Trust that a little bit. Not blindly, but trust it until it stops working for you and you prove that it stops working for you. Otherwise, assume that it will. Another problem is that people whine and complain when taking the course. And by the way, when I say people, I also include myself. So all these things I've done myself, all these mistakes I've made myself in taking self-help courses. That's partially, in fact, mostly why I know that there's such big problems. Because I have to be looking out myself when I take a new course that I'm not doing all this stuff. And a lot of times when I start off a course, I'm whining, bitching, and moaning and complaining about stuff I don't like, about the presenter, about the material, about the format, about the video, about the audio, about this, about that. But that's just distracting from what's there. So stop whining and complaining. both about the material, but also stop whining and complaining about your own life and your own limitations and how you can't do it. Which leads me into the next point, is the reason people don't get results is because they have a victim mindset. They come into the course already believing that they're going to fail, already believing that they're such a victim and so stuck that they can't fix these areas in their lives and that the course will never be able to work for them. And because they don't believe it, it basically is the first step that kills you if you don't have any belief in yourself at all. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you can never even get started. So you're dead before you're even born. Watch out for that. Another one is people are closed-minded and dogmatic. They come in here and what do they want to do? They want to prove themselves right, or they want to justify their own model of reality or the world. Leo, this is how it is, and I want you to agree with me, and if you agree with me, good, and if you don't agree with me, then I don't want to watch, and I don't want to follow, and I don't want to listen to all these ideas. No, when you're taking a new course, you got to open your mind completely, kind of throw everything out that you learned before, and just soak in everything here. Don't worry. This isn't devil talk. You're not going to turn into some demon by learning this new information. Your mind will just expand. New perspectives will come. If you don't agree with certain things I say, that's fine. But take them on. Take them on for a while in your mind and just see what the world looks like from that perspective. You can throw it away later. I believe it was Socrates that said that it's the mark of an intelligent man that he can entertain an idea without accepting it. So be that intelligent man or woman. Another common problem is that people expect quick results and effortless results. This course is not a magic pill. Just the time you invest in this course, the 20 hours or so to watch all the videos here, will already be a significant investment. But that's just the starting point. And especially when we're talking about life purpose, right? This is a very long-term endeavor. Don't expect quick, effortless results here. Personally, for me, it took 8 to 10 years to really align my life with my life purpose. 8 to 10 years. And I stuck with it because it was going to be worth it. I could see it was going to be worth it, and it has been. And I'm so glad I made that choice. But if I was going for the quick, effortless solution, then my life would not be anything near as rich and successful and amazing as it's been over the increasingly as it's been over the last 8 to 10 years. Right now, I feel like my life is as good as it's ever been in my entire lifetime. And I feel like it's only getting better. And that's because I'm investing energy and resources into myself to grow myself. And I'm not expecting quick, effortless results. Another problem is that some people just aren't ready for the material at this point in their lives. Maybe right now you have a higher priority than finding your life purpose. Maybe for you right now, what you need to do is you need to go work on your marriage so that doesn't fall apart. Or maybe you need to go spend more time with your kids so that your relationship with them isn't permanently destroyed. Or maybe you need to go lose some weight because that's a bigger concern for you. Or maybe you need to go work on your business before finding your life purpose, or whatever. That might be the case. But also make sure that you don't use that as an excuse to not do this work. So if you really make the decision that right now finding your life purpose is not appropriate for you, then leave the course sitting on the bookshelf for now and come back when your schedule's a little more freed up. Oftentimes it's good to focus in your life on one thing at a time so that you're acing that one thing and not trying to be doing 3 or 4 different things at the same time and doing them all mediocrely. But if you bought this course, I'm assuming that you feel like this is a good time for you. In which case, I recommend that you really devote and focus your energy here so you can ace this. And then you're going to be really happy because once you get this part of your life handled, it's going to be paying dividends over and over and over again for the remainder of your life. That's what I found is true for me. And the last thing I want to say is this concept by Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy is a really popular hotshot marketing guy. He's done a lot of different courses, expensive courses and seminars about how to do really effective marketing. One of the things he says as a rule is something called the 80-15-5 rule. And this rule, he says, applies to the purchase of all self-help or information products. And what this rule says is that no matter how good your material or course is, about 80% of your customers who buy it and watch it will get no results from it. 15% will get okay results from it. 5% will get amazing, exceptional results from it. And it doesn't matter how good your course is, that's going to be the breakdown. That's kind of like the law of averages. And it's an unfortunate fact. And, I've taken many self-help courses and business courses and marketing courses. And what I've discovered is that it's just from my own personal example, I can see how sometimes I fall into the 80%, sometimes I fall into the 15%, sometimes I fall into the 5%. And it's amazing when I can fall into that 5% and really ace that course, apply it in my life, like assimilate it into myself, right? Make it a part of my being. And then what happens is that some aspect of my life is completely transformed. And then yes, I feel like I locked that in. I got a real permanent answer or a solution, or I really built something there. And with other courses, I just kind of half-ass the course and don't really get much from it. Or I even buy the course. I don't even finish the whole course. But this is not just random luck. So I'm not telling you here that it's just going to be up to the fates whether you're going to be in the 80, 15, or 5%. You've got some control and say over that. So aim to be in the top 5%. If you follow all the rules I gave you here, you will be in the top 5%. If you do all the exercises, if you take all the action steps, if you follow every step in the course the way it was outlined, and you're diligent and conscious about doing that, you will be in the top 5%, right? And that's what I want for you. So set that intention for yourself that you're gunning for the top 5% so that you get the full juicy effects of this course.